This video is going to go over the God Roll craft for Whisper of the Worm. The reason for this video is I say that Whisper of the Worm, the topic itself, the sniper and the mission, is still trending on YouTube. I don't know why it's such high demand, but it is still right now, which surprised me because I thought the popularity of this would go down slightly, but it hasn't. I guess what's happening is people are tying up loose ends before 0 Hour comes out next week. 0 Hour comes out next week with a crafted version of Outbreak Perfected, which is going to be very important to the game because there's some good perks that's going to be on Outbreak, and I'm going to focus that next week. But this video is in a way going to tie up the loose ends with the Whisper, and I haven't made a God Roll craft for Whisper, so this is just going to show people what perks you should apply to the weapon for PvE. What are the correct answers? And that's what I'm going to go through right now. So when we come to the crafting table, it's on the special slot. To note, this is based on you already completing all of the Whisper mission secrets. So if you haven't done anything with the Whisper yet, the secrets that is, go and do all the secrets. Go and do everything so that you unlock the catalyst options, the white nail options, should I say. Do all of that first, then come back, watch this video to then apply the things that you need on the sniper to craft. So once you've done all that, white nail 4, apply it. Yeah, you'll then unlock everything on the gun that you can apply to it. So I'm going to give you the short answer on what I put on my Whisper of the Worm. If the short answer offends you in any way, you then need to keep watching the video, and I'll explain the long answer of why I come to the conclusion of each perk option. So short answer is as follows to put on your Whisper. It is Fluted Barrel, Flared Magwell, Field Prep, Whisper Breathing obviously, and Hand-Laid Stock. Right, so the long answer regarding all of this. So we need to understand stats for snipers in PvE because they're kind of obtuse and kind of like weird. Because a sniper is one thing. It's just a sniper that's a long-range weapon that does good precision damage. Yeah? But the stats on it, a lot of it's nonsense. For example, impact. Well, you can't affect the impact of the sniper rifle. It is what it is. So this particular sniper is 100 impact, right? So it's maxed out. So that's just what it is. So forget about impact. I don't even know why it shows it on the tooltip. It shouldn't, but that's what it shows you. As opposed to compared to other snipers. Range. Now range is very... It's a very odd situation because sniper rifles are ranged weapons. They're the most ranged weapons we have in the game. Even more than like a bow, right? So would you spec for range in PvE for Whisper of the Worm? You absolutely wouldn't. It's already got high range, especially the slower firing snipers have a higher range stat than the rapid fire frame snipers at base anyways. So this sniper has more than enough range. We are never considering range for this. Stability, handling, and reload are the stats that you need to spec for this weapon because that's when it doesn't do such a good job on. It does for reload, especially now that we've crafted it. It's got an 81 reload, so it does a good job for that. But stability and handling, it doesn't because this sniper is a high impact type of sniper and it's a clunky one. So we need to unclunk it. We need to make it a little bit more fluid. The way to do that is to up the handling and the stability to make sure that the recoil experience isn't too difficult to fire the weapon. Because if you go for a low stability Whisper, you're going to miss more shots. Being honest, you will probably miss more shots than what you should. So you want good stability, good enough at least, and a good handling stat because the handling stat's going to affect Whisper Breathing because it states the speed with which the weapon can be readied and aimed. So if you can do this, if you can aim it a little better, you can proc Whisper Breathing a little, like it'll be a bit more fluid in how you do that. And this gun's all about Whisper Breathing. So I still think a good handling stat is important as well. Reload speed is giving you it there, 81's good enough, but you also want to consider recoil direction. So recoil direction is something you want to also consider because this is going to make it harder or easier for you to hit your shots. So now you've understood the stats. Now let's go into more in depth on each thing. So the barrel, I chose Fluted Barrel today and I had a good time with it. greatly increases handling speed, slightly increases stability. This is everything that I've been saying. So this is going to help us hit our shots. Now, the second option that I may choose and may swap to, so what you need to realize with these barrels, they are 5,000 glimmer to change them. So just because I've chose fluted barrel today doesn't mean that it's stuck to my gun like glue. Because someone will comment in the video and say, you've messed up, you put fluted barrel on. Hey man, I have 314 712 glimmer. Do you think I can't not just change my barrel like that? I can change my barrel so quick before you comment to say it's the wrong choice. So I can't lose here. I just need to know what answer you say on your comments, though. You know, so like you can't win on YouTube. You can never win. Like if I put arrowhead break now, someone's gonna say you should have put fluid barrel, and I'm like, oh damn, you're right. I'll use fluid barrel, and then some other dude's gonna come in and say, what you doing? You should have used arrowhead break. And I'm like, well, dude, you can't put two barrels on at once. Which one do you want? I'm just here to tell you that I think those are the two options for you. Fluted barrel or arrowhead brake. Arrowhead brake because of the recoil direction being straight up. It's 100. Whereas fluted barrel's got the stats. The recoil slightly different, but the stability and handling on these stats I like. Okay, none of the other perks I like. I'm just showing you, I'm just giving you what they look like. Not even small bore, because small bore ups range and we don't need to. It's a waste. Look at full bore. Imagine running full bore on this sniper. Extending barrel, terrible. Hammer forged rifle, terrible. So you've only got two options, in my opinion, and maybe polygon and rifling. But look at the nerf to handling. So I don't even recommend that. It's these two. Honestly, that's what I think. Mag options. So mag options, I think flared magwell is the best one. Alloy mag, well, you know, this gun isn't designed for you to be reloading at the end of an empty mag. Think about it. You get 3 bullets, you hit all crits, you refund free. Alloy mag's not going to work. And you do reload sniper, you do reload whisper when you're solo against champs and stuff. If you want to try and solo a GM or use it in a GM when in your fire team, you're going to end up reloading whisper. Chances are, though, you're not reloading it at 0. You're probably reloading it at one mag. You might have 1 bullet, because if you've got 1 bullet in, you can't proc white nail. So chances are you reload it to get your free for the next target. This is where flared magwell is better, because it works on all reloads, whether you got 2, 1 or 0 in, it does. Alloy mag only works when the mag is empty, which is less likely to happen in this circumstance. Therefore, flared magwell is the option. You could argue for steady rounds if you're a player that never misses your crits, and therefore you don't need to reload, then steady rounds. Okay, you could make a slight argument for that, but trust me, when you're solo with Whisper, you're definitely going to have to reload it sooner or later, so flared magwell's the one. We have field prep. So we've got mulligan, field prep, no distractions, and enlightened action. Enlightened action does a lot for the reload, and it stacks quite high and will work with Whisper quite well. The problem is this. Enlightened action does one thing. It says, well, actually, no, sorry, it does two. Dealing damage improves reload and handling. I forgot about the handling side of it, but it does. It gives a bump to those two stats. So enlightened action's kind of good. And no distractions, aiming this weapon for a short period reduces flinch. Now, I don't know how good exactly no distractions is, with and without, but honestly, I have used no distraction snipers in the past, and I've never seen a noticeable difference for this. It's almost like a little bit of a myth to me. It's almost like, is it really working as good as we would hope? Because the whole flinch dilemma in D2, as bad as it is, I still think you're going to get flinch quite a lot, even with this pack. D2 is a buggy game. Do you think they're going to get this right? This exact thing that it says, aim this weapon for a short period reduces flinch? I don't think so. I think it'll just be minimal gains. So we may as well go for the ammo option, the ammo and reload option, because this does two things. So field prep states, increased ammo reserves, faster reload, store, and ready when you're crouching. Now, Whisper of the Worm does advocate for a crouching playstyle, and you're going to see the footage at the end me showing you that. You can do that because the sniper's from a range, so you don't need to be mobile. And field prep increases the total reserves to 28 with triple reserves. I think it's like 31 or 30 ammo or something. It's like 30 plus with triple reserves when you do that on a banner. So you're going to get a lot of ammo and field prep, right? It stacks with scavenger perks. So you're going to get more sniper bullets per heavy brick. Heavy ammo is a valuable resource, so getting more of it is a plus. So that's why we use field prep, because of that. And if we need to reload, we can crouch quickly, reload. There's an actual field prep reload trick that you can do. As you crouch, you reload, and then you can start running, and you've done your field prep reload. So field prep is fantastic. All right, I've talked at length on how good field prep is in PvE over the years. All right, so that's why I'm saying you should be picking field prep on this weapon. You've got Mulligan, but that's the base version of Whisper. So why would we go Mulligan again after having used Mulligan for all these years? The stock, we've used hand-laid stock because it gives the best stat bumps to stability and handling out of them all. Here's a preview look. Bad, bad, good, but not as good as hand-laid stock. So that's why we picked that. So that is the long answer on why we come to the conclusion of all of this. All right. So just know that, like, as soon as you comment saying I should have run array break, I've changed it to array break, so I can't be wrong. Because it's, hey, listen, it's not stuck to glue. It's 5,000 glimmer. I think we can all afford that to change a barrel. Don't worry about it. So, now coming on to the next topic about this gun. D2 is now much more of a fast-paced game than what it used to be, even in 2017. All right, so the game has steadily got more ad density now. The bosses are more athletic. They have more transitional phases in dungeons and raids, and there's not a lot of static bosses that we're up against. A prime example of a static boss is Golgoroth from King's Fall. This boss is perfect for Whisper of the Worm because Whisper of the Worm can easily get the crits, get the reload, and you can just shoot over and over and over, and it's really good for something like that. Right? But there's not many bosses like Golgoroth nowadays in the game, and if there is an ogre, they beam you down, like in Grasp of Avarice, the first ogre. He beams you down. Try getting crits against him. You need 3 people to do a stun lock to achieve that. When you're solo, you're not going to achieve a stun lock like this. So that's where I think there's a lot of other better options than Whisper of the Worm in the heavy slot, solo-wise. Xenophage is an example. Xenophage is always a contender in the meta, and has been in the meta since it came out. Well, since they buffed it. They did nerf it a year or 2 ago with its RPM, but they fixed it. They went back to what it should be. And ever since they sorted it out, it's been fantastic. It always is because of ease of use. It's easier to use. It has a lot less total damage than Whisper, but like in endgame stuff where you're up against difficult things and you're getting flinched, Xenophage is just better. Another example, Sleeper Simulant. You want precision damage? This weapon's giving you it, and if you do body shot, the body shot damage is forgiven on Sleeper. So if you miss a crit, it's not much of a big deal. So Sleeper, I would still rather run Sleeper over Whisper of the Worm as well. Another example is Dragon's Breath. Dragon's Breath requires no crit. All the bosses now are more athletic than they have been in the past. All right, they're more awkward to fight against. Bungie's upping the difficulty of bosses constantly because we are power creeping the game. So they're making like bosses like our Hulk, yeah, from Vow of the Disciple. Dragon's Breath's good on him, right? You try critting all these spots with Whisper. See how far you get with that once he starts, doing his karate stuff on you. So, look, there's better options. I think, personally, one last thing on the Whisper situation, it should have been a special weapon like Cloud Strike. Cloud Strike's a really good weapon. I have got Catalyst for it. The reason why it's got 0 kills is because I deleted my last edition. But I need to get the Catalyst, but I know that it gets triple tap or whatever. And I know from using it in the past, all right, that it's a good weapon. So that's where Whisper should sit. If Whisper was in the special slot, I would almost certainly use it much more, right? It's just that it's in the heavy slot and it's in a weird situation. Darcy's got the same problem that it's in the heavy slot. So that's what I think about it. There's other exotic snipers like Izanagi's Burden. Okay, I would rather run it Izanagi's Burden, which actually does have no distractions. Forgot about that. It has DPS rotations. I would actually run a more versatile sniper like the Supremacy. The Supremacy fits the meta nowadays because of just how it works in the game with the kinetic tremors, etc. So I highly recommend you craft a sniper like this. So there's many other snipers in the game that fit the bill more in D2 nowadays than what Whisper does. Whisper will always have niche application against some bosses. You are at the mercy of Bungie's boss design in Final Shape. And I fear that in Final Shape, the bosses are just going to get more athletic, and so on and so forth, to the point where like you're not going to want to run Whisper. You're gonna want to run grenade launchers and stuff like this. Stuff like that. So that's the information on that. There'll be a couple of clips showing you some DPS of Whisper of the Worm, what it's like on champs in GMs, and when you would really use the weapon. In my opinion, like using it solo, um, it's putting you at a disadvantage in GMs. I'm going to show you it melting champs, which by the way, this season it actually does extra damage because of all the solar mods. So in actual fact, Whisper is a supercharged weapon right now this season with Flint Striker, Razor Precision, etc., etc. Right? So it's just doing a lot for us. Killing Trigger, Radiant causes solar weapons to apply Scorch. So actual fact, Whisper does apply Scorch because of Radiant. So Whisper's going to get slightly nerfed next season, technically, indirectly, because we're not going to have these solar mods like this. So that's what I think about it. But you still want to craft it and have it in your back pocket in the vault. So as I say, the next couple of things will be clips of Whisper. So this is just a quick footage of me showing you Whisper the Worm on a damage phase in Spider Watcher. This is just a good example because the boss is a precision-based boss. It's more of a burst damage fight, if I'm being honest, which Whisper the Worm is king of total damage, not burst damage per se. So this isn't like an absolute test, but it's an example of us using it solo. And there's not many bosses in the game, right, that are like this. A lot of them, as I say, are more athletic bosses. Zolmak, Ogres. I suppose Warlord's Ruin has a good crit boss, but I couldn't be bothered to get the checkpoint just to showcase that off to you. Spire was a quicker CP to get. So, it's good on bosses like this. Bear in mind that wasn't long. The damage is good for what it was, I suppose. But that's just an example of trying to shine light on it. Pretty decent. This is a solo GM environment. So we're going to show you the field prep play style. So we'll get a crit. We break the shield because the shield break is not a crit, so we have to reload. Field prep makes short work of that though, right? And then we can melt the champ on the second phase. That melts the champs really quick. Solar Surge was on there, by the way. And this is the beauty of what Whisper does. It's good against tanks, vehicles. So 0 Hour coming up next week. Whisper of the Worm, I may use it in that because there's a lot of tanks. So it's good at killing tanks. It's good at static bosses, but it is not good against athletic bosses. That's just my take on it. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. Example of Destiny 2's shitty flinch system. Batteries sold separately.